Sam, and you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. How goes it, everybody? Ken Bozak. I I mean, if you've been watching for the past 4 hours, I guess we can kind of just pick up where everybody left off. And a lot of the questions I was seeing was, how can I get involved in the metaverse, or like what role can I play in the metaverse? And I sort of, I guess, want people to take a step back and think about asking themselves that same question when the internet, layer one came out, when we had basic web. What could you do? There wasn't online marketing, there wasn't streaming services. Jeff Bezos said, I'm going to sell books online, and people thought he was an idiot. So there's going to be new industries that will develop in the metaverse, and that's genuinely up to your imagination, because once you start doing it, you'll find that it's value added, and it's almost anything that you can do in the real world you can do in the metaverse, but there's so much more you can do in a metaverse that you can't do in the real world. And I was just wondering if you've been like having any brainstorms on like what employment opportunities or like business developments you could see, since we have like social media come from the internet. Even Star Trek didn't predict that, and they were looking pretty far ahead into the future. What do you see like as like a new era industry in the metaverse?
Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting topic. So, I mean, let's start by going backwards. Like, let's start about talking about Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3 and defining what those are. So, Web 1 was like the static web. It was just very basic. It was basically just email to email. And then when we saw Web 2 develop, MySpace was one of the first really great examples of social media interaction in Web 2. And then we had marketplaces that were incorporated with that. And then when we define Web 3, like what is Web 3? Well, what people, don't necessarily understand, and, why Web 3 is becoming quote unquote a buzzword, is because of the benefit and the utility behind of it. So Web3 actually takes the existing Web 1 and Web 2 databases that they've built, and it puts another layer on top of it. So whereas Web 2 is built on HTTP protocol, there's like one owner to HTTP protocol. So every year, if you own a website, we all have to go in, and we have to pay 1 to 5 years to 10 years out, so on and so forth. And then we still have to go back and we still have to pay those deals. It's like we can never own those domains. Like they're never truly ours. And what Web3 does is they bring us that capability. Web3 brings us decentralization and direct ownership, which
Yep.
is really great. And you were talking yesterday in one of the AMAs about how that's going to be so useful for the everyday person, and you were one of the forefront leaders in that when you did a really great case study there of the Ken dollar. And you were pimping yourself out. You were selling yourself,
Well, a proof of concept. Nobody wanted to
Right.
listen, so I had to do it. So I'd be like, this is how easy it is.
Right, right. And and then it worked because Vesa too. We've already discussed Vesa as well, and all of us are really good friends on the outside too. I don't think a lot of people know that we've all known each other. Some of us close to a decade. Like you and I, like 5 or 6 years. And Vesa I've also known for 5 or 6 years too. And he's doing the same thing with the Vesa dollar. And what's interesting too is, we've been at this for 4 hours, and now we have the floor for a while. And a lot of people are talking about the ecosystem and the roadmap and stuff. And I think that we probably should discuss a lot of the utility and the history that's being made here. And yeah, I'm kind of biased because that's what I do. I educate, and I'm a founder in the industry as well. And but what we're seeing develop right now in Web3, and then what Asvoria is doing in Web3, is really fantastic, and it's interesting, and it is an opportunity. So since you asked me that, like what job opportunities lie, now that we've lied all of that out, what lie within that? Well, it's kind of like what we were discussing, like the Ken dollar. Were you able to go like before cryptocurrency in our past lives? I was a nurse. For those of you that don't know me, I got into blockchain by accident. So I'm actually a hospice and a mental health nurse. And I was hit by a semi truck and trained by the founders of Ethereum. And so, before blockchain and stuff, I would say in Web3, what would the opportunity for me lie? Well, my family owned a home health agency. I ran a home health agency. And the first thing that I saw in blockchain technology when I was introduced to Bitcoin was, oh my gosh, I have to do what's called an oasis. And I had to do 45 to 90 pages of paperwork every 3 months for a patient. And every time I went in to go see a patient, even if it was a med drop, it was 15 minutes, I still had to do an hour of paperwork because it was like 7 pages long. And we didn't have computery typery things because I'm 40, not 21. And and so like we had to write all of this out until the end of my career. And then we had to fax all this stuff in. And the greatest thing that happened was after spending all that time and hours and faxing all those papers in and everything, we would always get a rejection for the payment. And we've already done the services, so we need paid, but we didn't do the paperwork right. We didn't dot a certain I or cross a certain T, or we forgot a medical code in there. And so you just had to redo everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, what does that mean for the everyday person? Well, what that means for the nurse is that blockchain technology is going to be utilized. So we're going to get a faster return, a faster payment. The patients are going to get approved faster for medications. There's also not going to be any fraud because, I did mental health. So there's a lot of addictions that I took care of. And so they would go pharmacy to pharmacy, pharmacy, and I had no idea why they were overdosing. Why? Why? Because, there was nothing was put on chain, so we were able to live, through all and do all these nefarious things. When we put things on chain, it gets to stop a lot of that too. But there's a lot of benefit and a lot of opportunity to that as well, not just stopping nefarious actors from doing bad things in society and hurting themselves, but it also gives us freedom to things that we've never had as well, including education. You wouldn't know that even though I'm a formal nurse, but I grew up at times without running water and I learned to read because I jumped in a dumpster behind my house and got a half of an encyclopedia out of it. And now I write encyclopedias with the founder of Wikipedia, Larry Sanger, and teach at Ivy League colleges. And you would never know that. And I had to do all that the hard way. Well, now kids and with Web3, they get to go on and you can go to MIT.edx and you can get MIT Ivy League education at your fingertips in Web 2. Well, in Web 3, you can immerse yourself in this and there's going to be an overall and betterment in life because not only are we going to be reading out of, textbooks that are 20 years old in school, but we're going to
Right.
be able to immerse ourselves in society in different cultures that some of us may never have access to. A lot of people have not traveled the world and not had that opportunity. I never did as, a little girl. Some people will never have that their entire lives. And we are able to do that in Web3 and give people those experiences. And then, like Miggy and Steven were talking about, we're able to monetize off of those experiences and gaming and share them, and let that legacy and monetization continue to live on, even from the core point of the founders, the artists, and everybody that's taken part in that development and process and experience.
That's beautiful. I saw in the chat, it says, "What a coincidence." Me too. Nurse, I mean, enrolled into blockchain. Love it.
Oh, how cool. In the Telegram room?
No, that was in the YouTube chat. And in Telegram, I saw a question I did want to touch on. They said, "What's up with these NFTs? What's the starting price if you wanted to sell?" Well, that's totally up to you with market value, But for obtaining an NFT, the starting rate is 1 SOL, and then for 5 SOL, you get another level. I don't have the information in front of me, but it should pop up on the screen soon. There are different tiers, but if you wanted to just grab an NFT, it's 1 SOL, and it just so happens that when you want to purchase the NFT for the 1 SOL, you're really grabbing some tokens and you get the NFT with it. And that's just till the end of the live stream. So if you're interested in that, just Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Man, they're quick. One soul is for the NFT for bronze. 5 soul gets you the OG NFT silver. 10 soul gets you the OG NFT gold. 25 soul, the diamond NFT. And then for 100 soul, you get the OG NFT platinum,
And
which I would
apparently
imagine potentially could be a one of one. And I feel like that's what the whale might be waiting for. Like they're like, oh well, if I'm gonna drop 100 soul, I might as well see if I can be the only one, right? So maybe that's what they're waiting for, that like last second buyer.
and then you get a tattoo, Miggy, of course.
Yeah,
Oh, speaking of
Mickey.
which, so let's talk about NFTs, and then you can show off your NFT little tatty tat.
Oh yeah, my teardrop.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Ken is actually let's talk about the history of NFTs. Because people are just like, okay, so when I've gone out and people are like, oh, you wrote the encyclopedia on NFTs. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, gross. And I'm like, why? And I don't think they understand what an NFT is. So let's talk about that. There's actually over 30 different use cases for NFTs, and we're just starting with the technology. The technology was actually invented in 2014, and there was actually a patent that is pending filing on it in 2015 by Eric Poulier, who is a really great friend and fantastic. He's brilliant, brilliant man, and he's from the corporate world who saw something in this technology. And you know what's really cool about NFTs? Ken, you're actually going to love the story of how NFTs were invented.
Okay.
Okay, so the story of NFTs and how they were invented was over a warm beer. It was three friends, three
Warm.
unique
Ugh.
friends. Yeah, yeah, that was the problem. So it was three unique friends, and a lot of you in the crypto industry have, know of these three friends. It was actually Reeve Collins, who founded Tether, the most traded cryptocurrency out there, backed by USD.
Just almost hit like 3 billion the other day.
Yeah,
Respect.
yeah. He has a company now called Smart Media Technologies, and you can check him out. He's actually traveling the world preaching NFTs and Web3 right now. So I'll actually call him and see if he'll go on the podcast with Phil. I'm sure that he would love to talk about it. So it was him, and then another famous crypto celebrity, our pal Craig Sellers.
Oh
So Craig
wow.
Yeah, Craig Sellers was on Mastercoin. Mastercoin was the first alternative current digital currency besides Bitcoin, and it actually was a stable coin, but also had the concept of an NFT behind it as well, which is really fantastic. So Eric Poulier pulled those two dudes in his bar that he owns, a little jazz bar in Santa Monica, and they were talking about Tether, and they were talking about stable coins, and and they were talking about if you could take the Bitcoin protocol and you could put smart contracts in it, like Ethereum did, but then you can change their identity later. And they used the concept of Eric said to Reeve and Craig, he said, well, like I have this beer. So what if this beer, and we mint it and it's cold, but then it changes, it gets hot, like it's not always going to be the same, it's non-fungible, it doesn't have the same value, it's not like gold, it's not a stable coin, it's not fiat to Bitcoin, it's not a fungible asset, it's non-fungible. And so they were like, whoa. So actually, Reeve Collins and Craig Sellers stepped away from Tether to file a patent with Craig Sellers, and they started Vatum. And Vatum was the first
That's so cool.
smart contracted NFTs. So it went insane from there, obviously. And then you got really big in the boom. They made NFTs out of like the top 50 of blockchain. So you have the coolest one ever.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm very pleased that it came out so me. Like it's so me.
Mine's not. It doesn't look like me at all.
A
Travis
lot of them don't look like the people they're representing, and mine is like my spirit animal. It's weird.
Travis gave me big boobs, so I didn't feel bad about myself. No.
Well, to be fair, I think mine has pretty big boobs too.
Good. Well, what we're referring to is some of the first NFTs that were notably minted within the blockchain ecosystem, which was the Blockchain Heroes, and they were by the Bad Crypto Podcast. And Asvoria has like taken all of these different concepts and has like built technologies around all of these different case studies that fit into this ecosystem, which is really cool because all of it is meshing into now mixed reality and virtual reality, which is really crazy and cool to talk about. Because, I mean, did we think that we would see the day when we were watching Terminator as kids?
Mm.
Yeah, no.
No, and it's weird to imagine where the kids today that are watching such futuristic shows are going to end up by the time they're my age. Looking back, like wow, like because it's exponential. It's not predictable. You can't really tell where it's going by by where it came from. You can only just guess, right? And like I think Russell was talking about this earlier, the adoption curves of things that were like 10 years to 5 years to 2 years. We're getting to a point where you could invent something in your basement and then the next year it could be ubiquitous in every kitchen. Look at Scrub Daddy. You know what I mean? Like it's like like who would have thought a sponge would have made somebody a billionaire, right? Like we've already have sponges, but it is reinvent the wheel and use the metaverse to do it. Look at the wheels that are around you in your everyday life that you interact with and try to figure out how to reinvent that wheel with the metaverse.
Yeah. So tell us what you're going to do in Asvoria with Ken World and all that. Like what's your plans? And then like elaborating on that, like what could, let's say, okay, everybody saw Russell and everybody knows Russell. Well, Russell's son is a musician, you know. So what are you going to do with your world, and what can somebody like Russell's son, who's a young musician, do with his world in Asvoria?
Well, I guess if I had to put a pin on it, it would be an incubator. And that's sort of like the communities I tend to build because it's just natural that way. It's like, oh, I have a problem. Hey, I know somebody that could help fix that. You know what I mean? So that's how, I end up building the network within my community. So I would say an incubator, a place where people can bounce ideas, problems, and solutions off each other instead of a wall, because it's a lot less fun to have, just Google be the person you're in, even if with the chat GPT, it's way more fun to have a community that you can say, hey, I have this issue, or even I have this idea. What do you think? So I think first and foremost, I would like to see it more as a like we work incubator kind of environment where there may be, over 1,000 people working on 100 different things, but it's all under the same umbrella, all with the common goal to help each other. Less competitive, more cooperative mentality too. A lot of people have same ideas to do the same thing at the same time, and they're going to run into the same problems. And if they can help each other, Nike and Adidas don't look at each other like competition, and I feel like we should look at that at this point in time, especially in this industry, that there is no competition. There is only, cooperation waiting. So that's what I would like. So for Russell's son, I would definitely recommend that if you're a musician or doing anything in general, I would recommend joining a community like mine there because say you wanted to tokenize your music or host a virtual event, it's going to be hard to just do that yourself, especially if you're an independent artist and you don't have a manager and a team behind you. You're going to want to join a community that could help be that team. And obviously, you could be a team member in their projects as well. And it's just cross pollinates, you know. I think that if you're going towards metaverse in an interest like what can I do here, you're already a step of 99% of the people in the world. If you're even just asking what can I do, you're already a head step. So join any community, but something like what I'm going to be doing is having something sort of like a 0 to 60. Like I've seen it happen with my community on Wax where people were coming in with ideas and it would take a long time to get that. But once we had the blueprint, we could help people go from an idea to, fruition overnight. And that right there, it's life changing. Time saved, that's the kind of community we want to help people save time, solve problems, and just make friendships.
Yeah, you said, if you're thinking about coming into Web3 and any type of ecosystem like that, you're ahead of the game. And I mean, I'm going to actually rebuttal that a little bit. I mean, like, are you? Because like really big brands have already come into the game. Like, oh, in fact, like, okay, so in the chat, somebody asked about Michael Turpin. So I'll cover a little bit about that and tell a little story behind that. Michael Turpin threw the first biggest crypto event. It's called Coin Agenda. We just celebrated the 10th year Coin Agenda. And I was a part of the Santa Monica event, which was really great. We brought Eric Polier out and we had a really fantastic event there. It was absolutely beautiful. Well, guess who showed up and came and sat next to me and just hung out for like 4 hours? And now, like, I introduced him to the founder of Web3, and he wants to do things in Web3. And but he was afraid before because cryptocurrency, he said, was just, they think about Silk Road and they think about like
Yep.
terrible things, it's none other than Keanu Reeves. I met
No shit.
Keanu Reeves. We're on YouTube. You can't say bad words. And so, yeah, mom spoken. And so, and yeah, his Keanu's childhood best friend is also his agent and was there in Santa Monica at Coin Agenda because Coin Agenda is actually institutionalized money meets the most brilliant minds in fintech and in AI. And Michael Turpin, one of our big investors and also advisors, is he runs that with Transform Group, a bunch of other really great OGs. So him and Warren Whitlock and Michael Turpin were sitting around, and we all went to CES together. And they were telling me that they had been, online internet entrepreneurs, and they went to one of the first CES, which was like 50 years ago. And I was just like, wow, how they have seen the internet change and evolve. And they see some of the most incredible state of the art technologies. And that's part of who, when that question came up, who Michael Turpin is. He's Transform Group. He actually, I wrote a press release for him joining the advisory group, and he has a hand in 30% of the top 100 cryptocurrencies, which is fantastic because I mean, if you see something and you gotta take into consideration, like, even I mean, I get pitched to on a daily to advise, to work with, or to go and educate, to speak at an event, to do all these things. And somebody like Turpin, who's CNBC terms, the crypto godfather, when we're at CES and stuff, people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's Elise! You wrote this book! Wow, wow!" And like once in a while, people will run up and they'll want my autograph or something. But then, like when they're with Michael Turpin, it's just like he'll be trying to talk to me and all of us about something, and people will just run up. Like they just try to consume his time, and it's because he is one of the most brilliant and successful minds in the space. So it's absolutely an honor. I've actually been friends with him. Well, I use that term loosely because he doesn't trust a lot of people. And so it took me being a servant with Team McAfee at all of his events for like ages. And finally, when he realized that I wasn't a little tyrant and I was actually a sweet little angel and just wanted to learn the technology and be a part of the revolution that's going on, he actually became a dear friend, and he is a fantastic break dancer. Just so you guys know, he break dances at my parties. So come to the Asvoria parties so that you can see me record you guys all break dancing and doing silly things that I can put on social media with the rest of the team.
I love how our personalities differ so much in the sense that we both love and admire Michael, but for so many different reasons. And I do know all of his like, the dude got into like Ethereum at like 30 cents. Like I love that dude for that. Like I respect it, but also he threw one of the best after parties I've ever been to.
Gosh, stop
Dude,
it.
he threw the one. Were you there? It was in Vegas. It was at the mansion where they recorded that scene where Mike Tyson knocked
Yes.
out Zach Galifianakis.
Yep.
The
I
Mike
went home.
Tyson mansion party.
Yeah, I go home early. So yeah,
So good. It was such a good
I
time.
know. Yes. So, and there's a ton of like at all the events, not only do you learn a lot, but you network. And some of the events are just so, it's such a high network volume of people. And
Well, it's like
Michael,
almost like going to a college reunion that you didn't even have to really attend. Like you just became a Harvard fan last year, and now you're at a Harvard University. You get to network with all the Harvard grads. Like that's crypto. We're so welcoming. We've been here for a decade plus. Come on in, and you can soak up that knowledge at the events. Even if
no,
you don't have a ticket to attend a conference, you can attend the after parties and network and mingle.
some of them, yes, there is a guest list when you come into Michael Turpin's house, and you cannot get past security if you try to get in the back door.
Stand out front, wait for Uber, pretend you're waiting for an Uber like you just left the
Please
party and rub
stop doing
elbows.
that. Please stop saying things like that. You are such a legal flight risk. It's insane sometimes.
I still have my passport. It's valid.
For now. So,
Stop. Uncle Sam loves me. I'm like his favorite.
what is your favorite thing on thing that you're looking forward to on the Aswarrior roadmap, like compared to other projects that you've seen? Because in my opinion,
Dude, the
like
Unreal
other
Engine.
are so incomplete.
The Unreal Engine. Like the graphics in general and how they're being utilized, I think is a major milestone. It's like I was talking to Russell about this on one of the AMAs. I think we were like the last nerds standing at the end, but we were talking about how like sometimes being first isn't always the advantage. Like Bitcoin did get lucky in that sense because you could take a look back at Tower Records, Blockbuster Movies, or you could take a look back at AOL in general. There's so many things that were first. I think Sandbox has unfortunately put themselves in an Atari situation where yeah, you were first, but you're not Xbox, and we're building Xbox over here. And I think that's what's important when you're looking at metaverse. Zuckerberg wasn't looking at 8-bit, graphics. I think that we have to be ready for games like Grand Theft Auto 12 or whatever they're going to be on or on. You know what I mean? When they are
Right.
incorporating metaverses because they're not going to dumb down their game just to cooperate and collaborate with your project. No matter how amazing the metaverse may be, the amount of work that goes into the details in these games, especially moving forward with Unreal Engine 5, they're not going to downgrade that. That is going to be their main selling point. Everything else will be the cool features. But you're coming for like that lifelike interaction when you're playing the game or watching a movie. AI could be making movies with some of this stuff that we're seeing with Unreal Engine, like
Yeah.
full Pixar. Like the next Pixar, the next Disney, the next will probably be an Unreal Engine 5 production studio that's making better movies than Pixar and Disney could ever do with what they're doing with their technology now.
I mean, let's be honest, that's why Hollywood had their strike, and that strike was, like, in movie times, an eternity. What was
Yep.
it? Like, it was
two
nearly a
years.
year?
Two
Oh, 2
years.
years, I'm sorry.
Writer
Yeah,
strike and actor strike, like 2 years altogether. It's been a
right.
nightmare because I've been watching crap for the past 2 years.
But and people do not need to, like, let's talk about that. People don't need to fear this technology either, and by the way, we've had,
No, the
several.
only people that need to fear this technology are the ones refusing to adopt and evolve with it. Blockbuster should have feared the internet.
Right. And we've had a bunch of deposits, by the way. We've had a buy-in of 1 sol, 2 sol, and then we've got a couple of small buy-ins too. So everybody's doing really great. Thank you. Point 0.3 sol just came in as well. So everybody is buying. And I mean, let's talk about what they're buying into in that. Okay. So you talked about the Unreal Engine, and I talked about why people like Hollywood and authors are fearing that technology. And then you got Asvoria sitting here with some of like like with the best technology that's out there as far as digital twins goes. And a lot what people don't know about me, we haven't even shared our bios or anything, so people don't even really know who they're talking to, probably, and that's okay, I guess. But I've worked in digital twins now for about a year and a half with Defiance TV. It's Defiance Media or Defiance.tv. And we broadcast in over 140 million homes with a digital twin. It's in hotels and gas stations and stuff, and it sells shows sustainable and technological news that's changing the world in some form. And so we've used the digital twin technology from very early on. And we've worked with a lot of different companies in it. And I'll be honest with you, like Asvoria's technology blows it out. And like we're in 140 million homes, guys. So yes, there will be some like collaborative discussions and stuff going on. And, like that has to happen so that, like Defiance can get a hold of some of this technology and grow their outlet. And then obviously Asbora can have access to, in all those homes that we're in as well. And what I see, honestly, and the people not they should not fear this technology. Going back to that, like they shouldn't absolutely fear this technology at all. It's going to benefit you in so many different ways. A lot of people don't know once I get on camera that I'm really shy. You know that it's just because you guys all really know me, but you know how much it takes to like get me on camera and get me to stay on it. When Nico said 2 hours, like I kind of ate my butthole a little bit. I was like, oh
I'm not
my
even gonna lie. In my head, I said to myself, "You better be ready to do the final hour on your own, bro."
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry, but I swear to
I will
God.
send Russ to your house and beat you and put you back on camera. You know the connections I have, and we're not gonna talk about those live.
Oh no,
And
not
so
you. I thought I was gonna have to do the last hour because I was
oh,
like, she's not gonna want to do 2 hours, but I
oh,
didn't want
no,
to
yeah,
save
I'll
the
hide. Yeah,
strategy. I
okay,
was
yeah.
pumping myself up to do the last hour on my own.
Oh, good, good. I'll leave you with my cat, though, now
If
that
I
you're
left you alone, oh yeah, trust me, I know. I'd have to go dark and change my social security number.
yeah, yeah, just be sweet to me, guys. There's a reason why you should be. But anyway, so if you're shy and you have that same reserve that I have, my digital twin that doesn't look like this and talk like this, it's actually like, responsive and it looks real life. Nico shared on his Facebook like his digital twin, and it looked like a picture of him and it was
Mhm.
embedded into like a film or a video game. And I was like, he's lying. Like that's not that. Like the
Yeah,
technology
when we were
can't
doing a
do
video call, he had something in the background and it caught my eye, and I was like, "Yo, when did you record that?" And he was like, "Nah, dude, that's the Unreal Engine." I'm like, get your what? Like
that. Yeah.
that because I we're at a point where it's really getting hard to tell. It really is, especially from a distance. If you're just looking at it, like it's hard to tell, especially with this technology.
And that's why Web3 is going to be really important in an ecosystem like Asboria, using that and implementing the security issues, and preventing the security issues that can come about with that. Because, when you're doing things on the blockchain, like, there's automatically a blue check. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to beg Zuckerberg for it. You don't have to stay on Elon Musk's good side. Like you get a blue check because you can back it up by the blockchain, which is fantastic because you always know what you're dealing with. What do we say, Kenny? And the blockchain world, don't trust.
Verify.
That's right. That's right. Do we have any other questions coming in? Oh, we've got 1.5 more soul come bys. You're in the YouTube and I'm actually in the Telegram, so you can check the questions over there. Another one soul buy.
I just see comments, not questions as much. But I guess like if I can take the floor, I'd love to talk a little bit about like inspiring people to like do something within something. You know, like when sort of like when I look at stuff, I can't help but think of a thousand different things to do with it. It just it happens. And I think one of the first things that came to mind when I saw how like Nico was using Unreal Engine, incorporating the AI as well as tokenizing it inside of a metaverse, clicked like a light bulb. Cameo. And I don't know if you followed the George Carlin story, but somebody used deepfake and AI to release, completely new. It's fake. It's been made by AIs, but it's not. So it's not original. But it looks like George Carlin really doing stand up in real life, like a living person. But he's been dead for years, and the
Right.
family is heartbroken. They're suing over the finances and everything.
Oh,
Well, if George Carlin's likeness was in Asvoria as an NFT, and somebody here watching this could start a company that's like Cameo, where I could rent your Asvoria, doppelganger, and type in what I want you to say, and you say it in a video like Cameo. Now I could have Robin Williams tell my uncle happy birthday, even though Robin Williams is no longer with us. Plus, now the family can use some of those, resources to keep the family together. Keep the family trust going. It's not just residual income from like Aladdin or whatever. Now they can build into the future with what he has done for his family, his whole life. He
yeah.
can continue to provide for his wife, kids, whatever. So I'm just thinking like what opportunities can be done inside Asvoria as far as like, you know, building your own company within a company or your own project within a project, sort of like a Makrishka doll. The better the internet does, the better Amazon did. I feel like we could provide that as well to a community. The better the project does, the better the community does because they found something to do. And I always just want to inspire random things to do. So just wanted to like get that out there and just like see what people think or just get that snowball rolling. Like, what can I do in the metaverse? It's limitless.
It is. I mean, like, I can't remember which AMA somebody was talking about it on, but like I think it was Russ, and he was saying like, nobody in early web 2 would think that a plumber would need a website because we had the yellow pages. And if you're 17 years old and you're listening to this right now, you're like, what's the yellow pages, old lady? And I'm like, it's a phone book. But I actually, my 13-year-old nephew, I did tell him what like a phone book was, and why we would need a phone book, back in the day. He said, and in Web3, people like the plumber is like, well, why would I need Web3? Well, actually, let's talk about why the plumber would need Web3 because
Oh,
let's role play. Okay, so Ken, please come. My crapper is broken. Can you please come and fix my toilet? Well, you know what's going on, and well, Ken, it looks like it's clogged up. Well, can you go and look at it? And we can meet in in a Web3 metaverse, and the plumber can actually DIY and walk me through basic plumbing and then charge me not for a house call, but maybe for, his time instead, and paid in his token. And I can just transfer it from Bitcoin to plumber coin or, whatever he's using in his ecosystem. Or, maybe he just wants me to send him an iTunes gift card and I can be able to do that over this. Or he wants roadblocks. Like he just wants all these roadblocks. And so the video games will be inoperable, in the future. And Asvoria is building ahead of that inoperability, in my opinion.
yeah. Could you imagine being a plumber and like it's just so like the future, so like the way it is? You're just all right. Yeah, I'll come fix your toilet. Just I guess buy this skin on Fortnite, transfer it to my account. I'll come do it. Like, wait, what? Like, yeah,
Man,
that's definitely a probable.
think about it. Like I was a nurse in mental health and nursing. So I mean, like think about how weird my request would get. Like I don't know. Maybe you want some Sephora gift cards to come and sit with my nanny while she has her last moments. No, sir, I would like some Bitcoin. How stupid do you think I am? No, no, I want some ASV, duh. So,
No, that's another great business idea for the metaverse that, you could purchase gift cards and resell them in the metaverse because that's demographic audience. Gift cards work for online purchases. People get stuck with them. They want to trade them in. You could have a booth in the metaverse that I could virtually walk my character up to, give you the code, and
Yeah, absolutely. And then both of us, okay, so I haven't been for a while. I developing gaming protocols now. But you're a gamer still today and was early on the blockchain play to earn gaming as well. Because you used to talk about that on your podcast and try to get me to play all these games. And so
oh, they were paying bills then. I thought people could play and pay a bill.
let's talk about that. Okay. And Asvoria, let's talk about that. I have to take a drink because, like Steven, I can't talk for that long either. I'm a writer.
I took a
And
I took a
so
B12 to start this off, so
I've got my
I'm
protein water.
it's I've never really taken B12 too often, and I've taken one. And I'm like, wow, this is so dehydrating.
Well, so in gaming, okay, so when you're buying into the Asboria token, like you're buying into the entire ecosystem, right? And this is not financial advice. Like we're just explaining part of the tokenomics and then part of the ecosystem. Okay. A lot of people had questions about the tokenomics, and the tokenomics is honestly, it's token and nomics. It's your digital currency and then all the fancy numbers behind it, and all of that you can view on the website, because there's not really a reason to memorize it. You can just look at that right there, and if you have a problem with it, definitely say something. But I don't think you're going to have an issue with it. But what's provided behind those tokenomics is what gives it utility. And so let's talk about that. So when we talk about Web3, you're going to hear a lot of the same words. You're going to hear the word NFT quite a bit. And so let's define that first. An NFT is a non fungible token. So non fungible tokens have only been around since 2014. But non fungible digital assets have been around since virtually the beginning of the internet. And the reason why is because you have non fungible assets on your phone, on your computer, and stuff, and you don't even realize it without even purchasing an NFT. What a non fungible asset is it is a digital representation of something that has value. So, for instance, that would be like a Target digital coupon that you got for 30% off Starbucks or whatever. That's actually a non fungible digital asset. It's not a non fungible digital token. Now, a non fungible digital token is when you take that digital asset and then you stick it on the blockchain and it makes it verifiable. It sticks it on the ledger. It can or cannot make it decentralized depending on what ecosystem you're in. But it makes it verifiable, and it gives you that issue of security. And then when you put it on a blockchain, that asset is blocked by that blockchain as well. So you want to make sure that you're on a reputable blockchain, and you can do a lot of, like, Asvoria is on Solana, but it's also has the roadmap to be multi cross chain. So it'll be cross chain inoperable. So it wants to go everywhere, which that's the future of everything, by the way. So, taking back non fungible tokens and non fungible digital assets to Web3, the value in gaming there is immense. Gaming is one of the biggest money making industries out there. It's huge. You can't quote me on it. You'll have to look it up. But what is it, like 300 billion a year or something? It's like, it's insane. And so, what digital assets and non fungible tokens and Web3 does to gaming is, instead of spending, like, your kid, I don't know if your kids have ever done this before, but like my 6-year-old has accidentally taken one of my games on my phone and spent like $140 and bought like the treasure chest, everything. And I was like, my bill came out on my iTunes, and I was like, why did I get $150 on a game? What the heck? But instead of spending that money on blockchain and Web3 games, you're going to be investing in it, because for me buying that game or paying for it for my kid on the phone, all I'm paying for is instant gratification and him getting head and then him being, maybe being able to take a screenshot and showing his friends, like maybe, but when it's on the blockchain, and in these gaming blockchain ecosystems, he can actually take that $150. He can grow, whatever weaponry or whatever, the gaming asset is, his character. He can deck it out. He can make it a $600 character. And then my kiddo's got a way to flip money and pay me for the ice cream he's always making me buy. Like you're
Yeah.
teaching you're teaching kids actually a couple of things here, when you're utilizing blockchain gaming as well. You're teaching them the value of money. And then you're teaching them, too, that, to be an entrepreneur. I think that's what Web3 does for everybody. And it's the future too. It's like everybody kind of being their entrepreneur. And we're trying to accomplish that in Web2 with things like Uber, with things like Airbnb, but where they fall short, like, you gotta go through all these chats, like, you don't really know who you're staying with, you just got stars on Airbnb, but you really don't know their first and last name. Like, you really can't look them up, like, you really don't have reputable people that have known them, grown up with them, that you're gonna see that kinda stuff on Web3, or 2, like, in some ecosystems, it can be very private. In Asborea, like, I'll build a reputable business, probably based on writing. My business is tech and authors, and I write for the most prominent people in fintech. And, so mine will, and my digital twin and stuff will just be sharing the endless, boring knowledge that you guys get to listen from me as well,
Mm.
you know, and people, they benefit from that. And like some people like to follow that, in my opinion, and they do because, it helps explain the technology and what they're investing in and what they're seeing because this technology is very new, it's experimental, and nobody truly understands it. Where do you see it going in gaming, and why will you use it?
Probably same reason I always have when it came to Web3 and gaming. You know, the whole play to earn mechanics. I'm a gamer. I like to play games regardless, and if I find something that I like to play just because I like to play it, and I can earn in it, then yeah, I'm gonna play it. A little bit more than I would regularly. But I think that's it right there. Is just like finding games naturally that I like to play and spending my time more in that game than other games that don't really reward me for my time. But I think what I'm most excited for when it comes to like Web3 blockchain based gaming combined now evolving into the metaverse is what our airdrops going to look like when it comes to metaverse gaming. Like we've seen like a lot of people are new to this space, but like we have seen airdrops change lives. Like just and
Yeah,
they're not planned for. You don't get involved in a project based on like the promise of an airdrop. They just happen through collaborative efforts, marketing strategies, whatever the case may be. You get random tokens from some random project just because you are part of this other random thing, and they almost have nothing to do with each other. And now you got this airdrop. And I think that to me is what excites me because I know that we're just going to get started over again with the whole life changingness of what airdrops can do. You play a game, you get to that leaderboard, and usually it is just the feeling of being one of the best. That's all you need. But now it's going to be like, wow, I'm one of the best, and I just got airdropped this trophy that people are bidding on. Like, okay, because like, yeah, great. I don't play in hockey, but if I was rich enough to bid on the Stanley Cup, and I really liked hockey, I'd probably want to buy the freaking Stanley Cup if my team won. Like, imagine the team being able to split the profits, not just from winning the game, but also now selling the Stanley Cup to a billionaire who wants to, own it. He didn't play the game, he didn't earn it, but he had to buy it from the team. And that's what I think gamers can do. We see colleges giving gamers to tuition covered. You can just come to college, keep playing your video games over here. I feel like we're going to see colleges airdropping tuition to gamers, just saying this NFT is redeemable for a 4-year college tuition, and you just got airdrop that because you're a really damn good gamer. And they used to have to go contact you, find a way, find your email, it wasn't easy for people to contact a really good gamer to give them a deal outside of gaming. Now you're going to get airdropped that potential opportunity to go to college and just keep being a good gamer, or whatever the case may be. It could be, maybe it's money that's airdropped because some projects will want to, you know, what I've seen legacy wise, to legacy, traditional blockchain gaming, not metaverse gaming yet, but it's that cross pollination where I'm playing a game that's similar to another game, and because they want to get my attention, the attention of all these gamers playing this one game, they airdropped all of us a bunch of free stuff, and we said, oh well, this doesn't work in this game, but we got it for playing this game. But let me go see what the other games like and let me play with the stuff I just got. And it was a great marketing strategy. They got a great user base curve. And I'm just thinking, metaverse wise, how amazing is it going to be 3 years from now? What the airdrops are going to look like? If you were minting NFTs on Ethereum, Paint came out of nowhere and airdropped Paint. The token
Color.
changed.
Yeah.
I cannot believe what it did for people. Just because you minted NFTs on Ethereum, here's a reward. Never saw it coming.
Same with Ether Rocks. Yeah, like all you had to do was go to the Ether Rock site and just claim an Ether Rock.
Oh, the Ethereum name service airdrop? Bro.
You know how many I had, like, my friends, okay, so those of you who don't know me in the industry, like, I got really sick. I almost lost my life, and through pregnancy, like while like all this while my Bitcoin career was right in front of me, you should say. And it was insane. Well, one of my friends, I lost 46% of my body weight having my baby. And so the crypto community, like, even though I was a nurse, it was like the crypto community, believe it or not, like came in and they helped pay for like surgery and hospital bills because I had to have a G tube and a PIC line. So people from all over the world who I was trading with, 7 years ago, they just I even get teary-eyed over it today. Just like we were friends online, like this was never happening face to face. Like, so they don't even know who they're talking to. I could have been like a fake avatar or something, which I got accused of a lot online. And
Well,
so
when you're pretty, people think you're fake.
I don't know what it is. They do claim that a lot. So sorry. But they sent all these gifts. And you know what a lot of people sent? Like they would send $100 here and there, and then they sent rare pepes. And
Oh,
they sent me joke memes, and I was like, what the crap are these like, what am I gonna do with this? Because we didn't even have a name for NFTs back then. And literally I dumped them like an idiot, and I probably lost millions of dollars in rare pepes that people were giving me, with like crypto for a fundraiser, like to cheer me up, and everybody thought that they were jokes back then. And I don't think that we should jump on and we should buy every NFT. Like if it doesn't have a use case and it doesn't have, you know a great utility behind it. Like we talked about this the other day. It's why I always said we need to mint responsibly. In the height of the NFT things, I was standing on stage and I was telling people mint responsibly, mint responsibly. Well, why? Because this is going to, bust, because there's too much hype behind it, because people don't understand this technology, and they don't understand why it exists. I started this off saying with NFTs have more than 30 use cases, and that's like the tiniest thing in Asvoria's ecosystem, to be honest with you, because people are going to interact with NFT technology and they're not even going to know it. Like your
yeah.
marriage license, your driver's, license, even like the receipt for your car, your oil change for your car, it builds provenance for your car. And that's all going to be, a receipt that is somehow integrated into an NFT. It doesn't necessarily have to go on a blockchain, but it is going to be non-fungible data that's electronically held, and maybe you can put it on your blockchain or whatever and your ecosystem, so that when you resell your car, it's worth a lot more if you take good care of your things. Like, there's so many different use cases to this, and people, they don't understand it. Like, art was honestly, like, and I mean this very respectfully, but it's the silliest use case, you know? And somebody like Vesa is a really good example of somebody that should have went to NFTs very early on, and I met, Vesa the same way that I met you. Team McAfee went after you both. Like, they wanted you both. They love Vesa. John loved you. So that was really cool to meet you both that way. But Vesa was a performance artist, and also he made digital art too, long before NFTs. And same with people. He made art for like digital art for like 20 years or something, a really long time before the NFT. Um, and he was making all that money in NFTs. And so, they had built their backgrounds, their careers, behind all of that. They deserved to make a lot of money. They knew what they were doing. And then they were forerunners in, the technology as well. They had to jump over hoops that nobody else had to. So, and now that it's more accessible, and now that we kind of know what we're doing with this technology and where it's going, Asvoria is a really cool place, to build all of it because it gives you more opportunities than you won't have in other ecosystems. I mean, you're very limited right now in Web 2. We're on Restream because we had to have a solution to go to Telegram, to go to YouTube, to go to Facebook, to go to all these different outlets. Like we had to like we have to have all these different solutions. And in Web3, especially on a platform like Asvoria, it has so many of these solutions for your business, or your hobby that you want to grow and monetize off of and make your dream your business. It has all these built-in
Yep.
opportunities to where you don't even have to be doing the work with the digital twin and AI stuff.
Yeah,
And you know how
exactly.
costly that is, like, to produce. And that's another reason why we're doing this pre-sale, is so that we can raise to produce the very best technology. And so all everybody that has been giving into this, like, thank you so much, because this continues, like, building the best technology. Like, the AI is only going to get better. Like, and the graphics, Phil, is freaking fantastic. Is he not like the best digital marketer? And are the graphics not like the most beautiful you've seen?
Yeah, the first thing I was saying was you got to start tokenizing all this the art, like for marketing purposes or promotional purposes, rewarding purposes. Give that art a purpose. Give it some utility other than just for marketing on Twitter or something. But yeah,
Right. Yeah. Uh-oh. Guess what? You're on your own. There's only 59 minutes left. Bye.
my heart did sink for a whole second. I didn't even want to lie. That was mean. That I almost just cursed.
Uh-oh. That would be twice on YouTube in one day. Oh
I
no.
Nah, dude. I only mess up once in front of mom. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've got 59 minutes left. So let's hit this off. Like, oh, you're showing off your tattoos. Where are you getting your Asvoria tattoo?
Probably
Speaking
in
of
this
this,
space right here.
that space right there. Yeah. There you
I
go.
ran out of real estate.
So since it's
You
the
know, I'm
last,
wearing an NFT right now, like physically wearing a physical NFT, like right now.
we're physical NFTs
No,
too.
no, like, well, true that, but this is an actual. Can you see that?
Or, no. Oh yeah, I can see it now. Yep.
I'm wearing mint number 353 of this T-shirt, and I have the NFT in my wallet. I have a physical card that verifies that I'm the owner of this and the NFT. Yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. I put it on just for the interview. I was like, or the video. I was like, I'll wear an NFT to talk about NFTs.
That is awesome. And yeah, that's only one of the very small use cases. And I think
Well,
that
people don't even know this use case right now. That's why I do it, and that's why I like to talk about it because they think this is something that could happen, will happen, might happen. No, it happened. Like I'm wearing it.
and you're not the Atomic Hub is not the only ones that's doing that. Prada has done that. People are like, "Oh wow, with your geeky NFT things." No, guys, like it's not about that. Why is it important for Ken to have, the Atomic Hub shirt NFT'd? Maybe it's not, maybe that's not important. But why does Prada feel like they have to NFT their products? Well, because
Bootlegs.
they have a massive industry where they're missing out on millions, maybe billions of dollars every year in stolen product from them and
Oh,
stolen,
not just stolen, even aftermarket resale. You know how there's those sneaker
yeah,
resellers? Nike doesn't get a cut when you go and resell your Nikes, but guess what? When there's a token involved, it could be coded into the blockchain that says, "When sale, send me a percentage." And I
right.
think when you mentioned Beeple earlier, I bit my tongue because I didn't want to cut you off, but it kind of segues into that. Is one of the most important things I think Beeple exposed to like traditional artists was the commission resale. When he was tweeting, I just made 100,000, but somebody else just made 1 million.
Yeah,
That was opening eyes to artists because Picasso's great 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 grandchildren don't get a dime when somebody resells a Picasso. And if you're going to be the next Picasso, why wouldn't you put something in place for your great 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 grandchildren to at least have? That's what you're doing it for. That's who you're working for. That's what everything's for, is your great 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 grandchildren and so on. And the blockchain makes it so it's impossible to screw artists moving forward. It won't, it's not like you're going to have legal repercussions. It will be factually impossible.
yeah, because that's what the smart contract is. Yeah, for those of you that aren't, truly fluid on what the smart contract technology is, most NFTs have smart contract technology embedded in them. And when you develop an NFT, you can change that smart contract to say what you want it to say. So if Ken and I make an NFT together and then, we want to go and sell it, we can say that we get 5% return back on every time it's sold. Or we can say we get 50% return back, and there's going to be like artists, and really famous, brands and stuff that want a higher return rate
Yeah.
because they've been taken advantage of for like Hermes has been around for 100 years or something. Think of all these big brands that earn their big luxurious names and stuff, whether we agree with, having that luxurious brand name and paying for it or not, regardless of how you feel about that, they earned that. They paid $1 million for that marketing
Well, the
commercial.
reason people don't feel that, like, may feel distaste for that is because of its non-authentic value.
Right.
It's fake
There you go.
scarcity, fake value. But with tokenization, we, the secondary market, us, will decide if your product is ever even actually worth its original sale value. You know, if we see a Supreme T-shirt selling for $600, but then all you ever see is resale value for $3, are you ever really going to spend 300 ever again on a Supreme T-shirt? Is it worth
Right.
it? I
And
think the secondary market told you it's not worth it. Or maybe it is worth more and it does secondary market trade for more. And now you maybe want to spend 300 on a T-shirt because there's only 100 and somebody would be willing to give you 3 grand for it because they really like that shirt.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And then who's wore it too? Like I said, it built the provenance of
That's
it,
important.
because I've been in like a guy contacted me in the big NFT boom, like at the end of 2019, and 2020 when it was starting to really come up. And he is a luxury watch dealer. And he was like, all right, I need you to meet John Travolta, blah, 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 blah. Like starts spitting off all these names. And then he's like, and I got their watches. And this one's gonna go for $20,000 more because it was owned by Mike Tyson. And this one's gonna go for $100,000 more because it was owned by Bill Clinton. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do with all this? And he's like, I've got all these records. And I'm like, and what? And he's like, and pictures. And it gives it value. And I'm like, okay. So if Don Johnson wears the watch and the watch is worth $50, now it's worth 1.2 million. And he's like, yes. And that's why we need this on the blockchain. And I was like, the whole watch thing makes no sense to me because it's a watch. I said, but you know what? The whole putting that on the blockchain so that people like me can understand that and be like, That's good for you, buddy.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say, you know how many times the
Bob wants that, you know?
yeah, I was gonna say, you know how many times the Eiffel Tower was sold and bought, but it really wasn't because of this piece of paper somebody thought was legit. I don't want to buy the Eiffel Tower and get stuck with a piece of paper that doesn't mean I own the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. We have a bunch of unmodest buy-ins coming in of Soul, and that's really great to see because in my opinion, okay, like we already discussed how I was a nurse. Like in my opinion, if you see a lot of anywhere from 10 to $500 buy-ins for sales like this, it means that the average consumer, is very vested in something like this, because the economy is really bad right now and everybody keeps talking about whales and this and that. You guys are investing in a token that's going to launch at 2 cents. And we're hoping, and obviously all of us are going to work diligently to raise that because all of us are invested in the technology, as well as the token ourselves. And so it's not obviously financial advice, but getting early on in these pre-sales are the best way to do it. And I'm here to tell you, and Ken can tell you, I've mooned some pretty cool tokens. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming in here. And like during like the second Great Depression or whatever you want to call it, people are still buying into this really great technology. They see the value in it even when milk is like $5 a gallon. And I think that that says a lot about Nico and Russ and Phil and people that have come on this project before we have. And it says a lot too that people like Michael Turpin are coming on and they see value in it because, like I said, I spend time with Michael and it's hard to get a word in when you're in public with him because people just run up and they just are like, let me show you my feet project. Let me show you my, and I'm like, that makes no, this is every day, all day with you. Oh my gosh. So the fact that he's shining light and favor over here and also time and consideration and own personal resources says a big thing because I know everybody in fintech really follows what Michael Chirpin does. So that's going to be huge for our ecosystem. And then let's face it, I mean, let's just tell the truth since we're down to the last 50 minutes. If Ken Bozak is in the room, there's usually a party going on, and I'm usually calling a cab and going to bed soon after. So at the events, you're definitely going to see the best education, and then you're going to see the best parties from you.
I try to provide. Yeah, well, I'm that's to me like I actually think I'm quoted in like the New York Times or New York Post, one of those things, because some New York reporter. I didn't know I was talking to a reporter. You know me. But I was quoted saying that this isn't a revolution; it's a renaissance. And what do you do at a renaissance? You party. And I feel like that's what this is for me. I can't look at it as anything else. And I know a
Create.
lot of people see it as a war. It's a revolution. We're down with the banks, and it's so much more than a revolution. It's a renaissance, and we're seeing everything changing with this. Not just one, not just the banking aspect. It's so much bigger than that. But that seems to be the topic of conversation that people can grasp. But what this technology is going to do at the end of the day is make the concept of currency obsolete. Money, the conversation involving money will be as barbaric as 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 flat earth. It'll be fun to talk about, but it won't be realized in reality. It won't that's that yeah, it's a funny dream. Like, oh yeah, money, that's funny. Yeah, I think we used to do that. We used to believe the earth was flat too. Like, I think this technology is going to prove that money, currency in traditional aspects is obsolete. And what we think of when what we will think of when we hear currency will be utility token. It will be, what can I do with it other than what you tell me it is or what it is worth. Like, what can I do with it? So I think that just playing around in the metaverse, you're gonna be experiencing something that will be ubiquitous to your kids. You'll be able to help them go farther. Like imagine if your parents were more computer savvy when you were in middle school. By the time you were in high school, your parents could have helped you with word processing or your computer classes, but your mom and dad, I didn't grow up with this stuff. Like, yeah, you did, but you didn't play with it because it wasn't ubiquitous. And that's where we're at now. It's not that common, but now today you being involved, it's putting you in a position so when your children grow up, you can be that springboard that helps them leapfrog into this industry and not be stuck having to go to school just to learn the basics. They learned that from mom and dad growing up because mom and dad did that. And I sometimes I wish my mom was a computer nerd, and maybe I could have been more of a coder than a great end user.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Because we have the technology now and it's advancing so much that, projects like Asvoria just it makes it so we don't need we can have these deficits and still not miss out, you know? It's like I said, Prada is not using Web3 technologies because
They want to cash
it's
grab.
right. Yeah, they're not doing it just because they wanted a bored ape,
Right,
no,
right.
they actually did it for, the data collection and, to reward their users and then to verify their products, So if somebody comes in and they're like, "Fix my purse," and they're like, "This is stolen," "You stupid," it
That's funny.
yeah, it's going to help, so many
That is
putting
funny.
things on the blockchain, it stops a lot of things and it helps a lot of things too. And then, like I said, Asvoria is making it so that you can do more. You said that, this is a renaissance. Okay, maybe you party during the Renaissance, but I think a lot of artists too, they created during the Renaissance. They made art during the Renaissance. They made music, they made poems that were still
They were
resonating.
playing music while I was dancing in the streets.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they were painting pictures of you dancing around naked in the fields or whatever you do at
Yeah.
night.
You could
Yeah,
Google Renaissance images. I'm in there. I went into the past and participated.
right. I've seen them. I think. I don't know. No, I wasn't there. So, so, but, I think people are they're creating during this time. And I go back to saying, don't fear this technology, embrace this technology, because I think you're right. And I think they were right to quote you. And this is a renaissance, and people are going to create. And the thing of it is this technology exists to make our lives easier so that we can create. You stick your business in a platform like Asboria, and I've talked to Miggy multiple times about growing his Twitter and growing his brand. And Miggy is he's the best. He's so smart, he works so hard. And he's the most transparent and respectable gentleman, just like you, that you're ever going to meet, and you can really rely on Miggy. Both of us know, from personal experience, you can rely on him. And he's just really struggled making it in Web 2 as much as he could easily do in Web 3. Because Web 2, we're combating all of these different things in our business. You can't get seen on Twitter. I'm sorry if you think that you can make a post, even if you have 10 million followers, and you think that even 1% of them are going to see it. So, what if you're a business and you only have 1,000 followers? And maybe that's really good for you because you're just a mom and pop shop and you just got you and your friend, helping you out. So to get those first 1,000 followers is actually really, really hard. But then you work really hard for those followers and you post something, and guess what? You put all that time into that content creation and that video that you made and the editing, and you get all the stuff just right and the wording and the SEO and everything. And out of those 1,000 followers, it's not even 1%. You hope that 0.5% of your followers are going to see that. What is that doing for your business? I'm sorry, that's a waste of freaking time.
Mhm.
And so a lot of us give up on trying to grow our businesses on Web 2 and stuff because, you have to do things that are fake. You have to buy followers and stuff to look legit. And now you can just buy a blue check mark. I'm sorry, that's not fair.
Yeah, I
because
refuse to participate in that.
I won't. No, no, because it makes you look like a scam because now like you've got people that follow, 30,000 accounts and they've got 8 followers and they've got a blue check mark because they followed everybody and they paid, for a blue check mark and you don't know what you're getting into. Obviously, that's a fake account. But, there's accounts that, could be either or and it's just confusing and you can just set that up on a prepaid card and there's no real identity. There's real nothing, no KYC really there that or you there is, but you can overcome it very easily on Facebook and on Twitter. Or I'm sorry, on X. We've been X'd out.
Oh God, it just feels inappropriate.
It does.
Like I can't say, did you watch that X video?
No, no, you can't
No,
do that.
no,
No,
you can't. I mean, I
especially
did, but I can't.
yeah, you
Like,
should.
still got to say, did you see that Twitter video?
So in the chats, what is everybody's favorite aspect of Asboria?
And mine's still
Christella,
the graphics. I'm blown away, and I see so many practical use cases just simply based on the potential to use those graphics in the metaverse.
Christelle says that there's an amazing professional team. Well done. And this is just the beginning, more to come. And Adam wants to know who is on the stream. So, Ken, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ken. I've been in Bitcoin since 2014, making crypto content since 2015. Um, I've done conference. I've personally attended like over 300 conferences. I've hosted, I think, 12 at this point, 12 different conferences, four in Canada and a bunch here in the U.S. The two bigger one, or the bigger one I've done twice now, is known as Shitcoin Conference. Sort of like a middle finger to the hierarchy of maximalism, to encourage people to do exactly what Asvoria is doing, doing something different other than Bitcoin and maximalism, it's experiment, produce, play. And that's what the conference was really to encourage. I've been interviewed probably 3 or 4 times on TV for crypto. Like obviously, as I've been in early, there wasn't a lot of people for them to talk to, but also by the time they got to wanting to talk to people, I seemed to be the one that knew the most in the room. It's hard to believe just looking at me. I know, but I soaked up my crypto knowledge. I went all in. I got unbanked in 2016, and I went all in on Bitcoin. Rode, the volatile wave that is, the parabolicness of Bitcoin's price, but it gave me the opportunity to see volatility differently. I look at the dollar different because of Bitcoin. I know we see the price of milk, bread, eggs, and gas go up and down, not the value of the dollar. It always looks like a 1, a 5, or a 10, but it's getting you less or more, right, depending on the country's economic state. So when we're looking at a pre-sale right like this for a token, when you're looking at more of a scarce environment where the circulating supply is capped, you don't see that fluctuation on what you're buying, as it always goes up in that sense of eggs, bread, milk always going up in price, right? It's actually going to cost you less of that token as the token gains more utility and gains more value as it's spread out into more wallets and circulating more in supply. I think that we're going to start to come to appreciate the fact that one token can get you more at the store, and when you see the volatility, it will be not so much when you're looking at your dollar and seeing the one, but you're going to be looking at the price tag, and it will be a live chart for your eggs, bread, and milk, a live chart to the second of what you're spending and what it's worth to what you're buying. I also have been organizer of meetups, encourager of meetups as well. I hosted my first meetup was in 2015, and Tone Vase historically spoke
Yeah.
at my meetup at 30th Street Station at
I
a
love
Wells
tone.
Fargo ATM machine for lighting, and we had this train announcements going on and everything, and yeah, it was pretty cool. I've traveled the world. I've been to dozens of countries to attend conferences, speak at conferences, um, host panels, organize things. I've just kind of just been like the hands-on. Like if you were ever in high school and you jumped around the lunch table, that's sort of me in crypto. I kind of fit in with the jocks, I fit in with the nerds, I fit in with the cheerleaders, I sort of fit in with all the aspects that are crypto, just from going to conferences, hosting conferences, and meeting people.
Everybody loves you. We've got more pre-sales. Our pre-sale bot is going crazy. And Tony said he likes the idea of the incubator, which he heard on the AMA, and also the team behind this. Furthermore, he loves the quality of the metaverse and the platform. The AI is booming, man. What's not to like? And I said, thanks, Tony. And Ronan says NFT OG onboarded ASV will overtake Sandbox and Mana, and I can't disagree with that because of the ecosystem. Like, I'm actually a fan of both projects and friends with them too. But I'm also a true speaker, and I really think that this is going to be the biggest project on Solana.
I
Um,
don't see Grand Theft Auto developing their next game for the Atari, and that's how I feel when it comes to Sandbox. They don't have as they don't have the same opportunity as Voria does when it comes to new era games like potential Call of Duty collaboration. Sandbox doesn't have that opportunity. It's not even in the conversation.
No, they don't. And I've invested in them, and like I said, I like them, but as far as ecosystems go and as far as technology goes, as Boreas seems to be doing really great. And it's not a competition. They're two different things too. So
No,
so
I mean, yeah, there's still developers that develop 8-bit games that you can play on your browser or buy on the App Store. There's still a huge demographic audience for like 8-bit gaming that I think Sandbox may appeal to, but the larger slice of the gaming pie is for more realistic graphics, and the more realistic the graphics are, the more chance you have of evolving and moving forward, not being stuck. And I can't see a project like Sandbox pivoting in a way that puts them in a position to even say compete. They're doing something so different, it can't be called competition.
somebody just bought 20 soul, you guys.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations. Dun, dun, dun,
Respect.
dun. You are the king of the day or queen of the day. So, well, oh, and Adam, I am Elise Sam. I like to tell people in short, I got into blockchain by accident. I was a nurse by trade. I took care of the mentally ill, the addicted, and the dying as a hospice nurse. I ran a home health agency. And then I was stopped at a red light and I was plowed by a semi truck. You will typically see me like relaxing in bed or like laying back in a chair when I'm in meetings because I have 7 spinal injuries. I have a metal clavicle and I have shattered bones throughout my body. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I reached out to industry leaders and I asked them to train me in cryptocurrency and smart contracts. And so that was actually back in January of 2013. So I've been in the space for a minute. After that, I worked with the World Ethical Data Forum and took equity over that. That's partly owned by Julian Assange. We did a lot of whistleblowing through that. I've whistleblowed with Larry Sanger, the owner of Wikipedia. I did events and marketing with Team McAfee, John McAfee's team. That's how I met Ken Bozak and Vessa and a bunch of people in the space. Was because I was the Team McAfee's little nurse, I guess, that ran around with them. They protected me, and I kept them out of trouble. And so I've been a founder in the space. I'm an educator. I'm a guest professor at multiple Ivy League colleges, including Harvard, MIT, Stanford University, Columbia. And I brought the Dubai Chamber into Web3. So the first space, unfortunately, royalty got to see in Web3 was me. And so, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
I'm
Um,
sorry too. A lot of the first experiences people had with the crypto were me. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Like they just get to feel so much better about themselves after they made us, I guess. No, I'm kidding. And
But if
so
you can do it, I can do it.
right, exactly. If this little nurse that took care of people that eat their boogers every day, can do these big, big, big things in life, girl, I'm gonna make it big. That should
Yes.
be your mentality. That should be your energy. If you know that I can do something and get into the top of fintech and into the top of NFTs, like just know you're gonna do way better than me, baby. I'm here to tell you, way better. You're not sitting here laying on your spine, all tired after 90 minutes of talking. Like you're gonna do so much better than me, and I'm gonna be there to cheer you on. And honestly, like Asvoria gives you all the tools to do that, which is crazy because when I came in the space, there was no education, there was no tools. It took 800 years. Like it seemed like obviously that's an exaggeration, but it did take months to like get onboarded and get your first Bitcoin if you didn't have somebody sitting there like Tone Vase or Vitalik right next to you. And God bless his heart, Vitalik's father has been my mentor and next to me and helped train me. So I got the same, well, not the same treatment. I got the same like book education that Vitalik did. And so that was absolutely wonderful. So I bring a lot of copy and education, obviously, to the table as Voria, and they've just got the best technology. So they didn't see anybody better to write it than somebody that's wrote and speaking about the history. And I can't even tell you that I'm absolutely honored. And so Phil did a. I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry. Ken knew that was going to happen. But
All good.
Phil did a. I'm on the podcast as one of the first podcast people, and then afterwards, I had known Nico for a while, and so it just seemed just so fitting, and I just fell in love with the project the more I learned about it. And Russ had been talking to me back when it was a virtual blockchain valley, and he's like, you need to come and get your avatar done. And I was like, I don't need a virtual twin. People don't need to see my face. It's fine that people think that I'm fake, and he's like, no, no, like you need to do this and stuff. And the more that I learned about it, the more I was just like, wow, like this is really it. And this is going so big. And it is like, and I don't mean to say bad things because I am a fan of Sandbox. I really am, and you guys should be too. Because it's a great project. It was an early
I
project.
have my own plot on Sandbox.
Yeah, it's great. It's just like you're going to have your own like ecosystem and be able to run your entire business and game and stuff on Asboria. Like, it's not a competition. It's like, it's Disney and then it's Elemental. One is like the big production and the entire brand, and the other is a character and a
Well,
movie.
so I think it's because the term metaverse is such a broad term with a loose definition that it covers so much that everybody thinks it's all the same thing or similar, or it can be considered competition because it is meta. Uh, I think as this space grows, there will be more words for more definitions to have a better conversation with. We calling Sandbox Metaverse and Asvoria Metaverse. It's I don't think it's fair. It's confusing. Imagine if we kept calling money gold. We just called it gold just because it's what it's. But it's so confusing. But it's still what we did with gold. We use gold to buy stuff, so we're using this gold to buy stuff. It's gold. Like no, it needs a new word because it's a new thing. Just because it's very similar to what the other thing does doesn't mean it's the same. It's new. It's different, and it works differently. So as we grow the space, we have to learn to invent words that define it better.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. And like I said, NFTs were invented actually in March 2014. They did not have a name, a legal dictionary name until to the end of 2018. So for 4 years, we just bum bum bum. We came up with all these non-fungible digital like they were called whatever we could think of. They were just pinning things to the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain protocol, and to be honest with you, they didn't even stick. They didn't stick. They're not there anymore because they didn't know what they were doing. They were experiments. So, and now here it is 2024 in February. It's been a decade later, now that NFTs will be a decade year next month. And so that's fantastic. Like we've experimented with the technology. We've made a blockchain protocol specifically for NFTs because NFTs crash Ethereum. Like people forget that CryptoKitties actually crashed the Ethereum blockchain protocol.
I don't
So,
forget. I was
no,
there, baby.
yeah, I know. We all had a meltdown. I thought that I lost everything because it
You know how
wasn't
much I accidentally spent on gas because of that crap? I don't even want to get into it.
a lot, a lot.
Way more than I was spending on the actual crypto kitty, I'll tell you that much.
And I have to really I have to give Nico a big round of applause because like Solana it covers transactions. And I have always, because obviously I was raised by the Ethereum community and the founders. And so I've always favored that. I know, the blockchain really well. I know the tech really well. But I have to tell you that it's not the right blockchain for, gaming and ecosystems like this because I mean, you came to my launch party when I released the first NFT currency for staking and governance protocol. And you had to buy my token in order to get into my party, even if you just bought $1 of my token. Well, the problem was that during that time period, like Ethereum it just skyrocketed the gas fees at the time. So to buy like $5 USD of my token, it was like $130 in gas fees. And people were like, yeah, I understand that a ton of famous people like David Arquette, blah, 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 and all these famous people are in your party, but I still don't want to pay $200 to get in for $5 plus memories and a bar, And I'm like, I don't blame you, And so you don't have that problem on Solana, because it covers microtransactions and you're barely noticing your gas fees covered in there,
And it
which is
won't have that problem because Solana took into consideration the issues that Ethereum exposed.
right, right. And Solana has evolved too. When we're talking about building technology on other technologies, I launched a blockchain project with one of my best friends. You guys probably know him, Travis Wright from the Bad Crypto podcast. We did the Soul Shamans. It was a spiritual project for NFTs on Solana, and it was like, what was it? 2022 in December when Solana had that big crash and they were down for a little bit, and they really had to like rebuild during that time. And as a technologist, like I was really upset obviously because our project was, being launched on Solana and it didn't work out the way any of us did, but the community stayed strong. The founders of Solana stayed strong. They fixed the problems. They didn't run away. What were they embarrassed? I'm sure all of us are technologists and we've all had failure points and we need to take that into consideration.
No,
But
even Bitcoin's had bad days, so has Ethereum.
Bitcoin has died over 10 million times.
No,
There's a
no, I mean like
website
this. I meant
died.
like the same
Right,
technological bugs. Like Bitcoin has
right.
had bugs that have been solved even by Bitcoin Cash developers.
And and that's why, for those of you that don't know the history of Bitcoin, that's a lot of times of why it's forked, and why we've had attacks and stuff. We just had a buy of 3 Sol, guys. You guys are coming in the 25
We
or
got
so
about 20
minutes
minutes. Yeah.
here. Yeah, yeah, you're getting good. That's right. So, yeah, the way that this ecosystem is being built and stuff, and what you're buying when you buy into the ASV token is really interesting because compared to other projects, it just goes above and beyond. It really, really does. So, what are your last questions, comments, concerns? Ken, I see Miggy's hyping up in the chat room.
Yeah, I really want to see that dude get a
Telegram.
tattoo. That'd be hilarious. I'm with it.
And I see the mods are encouraging, like, there's dating ecosystems and stuff in Asvoria. And yep, you guys can all partake in that too. I'll probably just be sitting in the gaming rooms with Ken. So thank you for the kind offers otherwise in the chat room, though, guys.
Well, that's the best part, though. You'll be sitting in the incubator. If somebody needs some help, you'll be there, and that's what the community's for.
Definitely, definitely. The education will be there. The dating aspect, I probably won't be there for, though, guys. Thank
You
you.
know what? You say that, and that's another use case I could see for the for Asvorias. I could be a you could date my internet twin. I could be an AI
Oh,
boyfriend.
yeah. I guess you guys, if you wanted to date my AI twin, well, and Maggie offered if somebody bought 100 soul, invested 100 soul that he would get a tattoo. I'll meet you in the virtual dating game room if you do 100 soul
That would be
with
cool
no
too. That's another
bodysuits and fully clothed. Okay.
that's another cool thing you could do in the metaverse is maybe your virtual world could be a speed dating world, where people get to mingle and
Not
network and meet
mine.
each other.
That's somebody else's idea. Why would you go? We could call Adrian Ashley for that.
Oh God, I love her.
She's perfect for that. I'll have her on that
That's a
tomorrow.
good point. That is a really good point.
Right.
That should
Yeah.
be her whole world.
So there you go. We'll have Adrian and Miggy run as Voria's dating site. If you guys want in on that, right now it's only going to cost you 20 soul. That's a joke. So,
Could submit to background checks for verification that you're not a creep. All kinds of cool stuff.
oh yeah, I got you covered there. Ken will let you know. I will find the dirt on you. I hope that you are well behaved online. So,
That would be nice, right? Like if I swipe right on somebody and if they match with me, I got a deep dive for like 20 hours just to find out if they're actually who they say they are, and then if they are, they're not a crazy person. Because you just matched with me, odds are you're probably crazy. I swipe.
I don't know. Everybody loves you for a lot of different reasons, Ken. So, and it's definitely now the dreads too. And also your knowledge in the Web3 space, of
These
course.
are my blockchains.
Those are your blockchains. Yeah, I got rid of mine and you grew yours.
Oh, I'm so mad I didn't think of that term sooner. The first time it dawned on me that I could call these my blockchains.
Well, the last 20 minutes. Oh, Miggy said he's down to run the Asboria dating site. So, if Miggy is single and ready to Miggy mingle, Ronan, thank you.
That's a good name.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
a good name. I'd watch that on like Netflix, Miggy Mingle.
Oh, is that a show? I don't
No, it
watch
should be a
TV.
show.
Oh, okay. Well, let's make it his. Oh, he doesn't have a choice. I think. Yeah, I'll ask Nico if I can be his boss, and then then
I
we'll
would
do
love to be a
Mickey
fly on
Mingle.
the wall and watch Miggy on dates.
No, Mickey is great. Mickey saved me at events and stuff. So when you guys come to the Asboria events, you guys should know that Mickey and Ken, like ladies, this is not a joke. Like it is literally not a joke. These guys are the most respectable gentlemen, and Russell too. Like these guys, because there's some creeps in technology. But it seems like this community and the people behind it are just top notch gentlemen. They're respectful towards women, all cultures, all people, and very knowledgeable. And I'm seeing that reflecting in the community. So I want everybody to turn around and give yourselves a pat on the back because you guys are just freaking awesome. And there's like 19 minutes left. And you guys have totally you've made this. And I just want to thank you all because this has just really excited me. When Russell and Nico and Phil talked to me about this, I told them that I was just so excited. And how could I ever say no? Because, like, as soon as I saw the technology, I was just like, man, what do I got to do just to kind of like get my name associated with it? Like, how can I help? Like, I just want to be a part of it because I know that this is going to be huge. Like, how can I be a creeper and add value and you guys respect me in some form? And they were like, no, I think that your talent and we have some talent. And I'm like, oh, no way. That's so cool. Yes. And I know that you felt exactly the same way. It's just like, I think a lot of people, and Michael Turpin too, like, we're not being rewarded massively for any of this. Like, we have like this dire excitement in our heart, like this community does. Look at this freaking room lighting up, you guys. Like,
Yeah,
you,
it is definitely the excitement that's the fire under my bottom that pushed me over the edge with it when I saw the AI incorporated with the Unreal Engine graphics. I just had like a million thoughts a minute of the potentials, and I was just like, well, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Not so much as like for like the oh, I was on that team before they were amazing or whatever, but more so like I want to network as a brand ambassador. I would like to have the conversations that lead to things existing because of the conversations I had. So just so I can use them. Like that's my greedy motivator is like I want to live in a world where things that I want exist. How do I get that? Well, I talk to the people that don't even know that's what they want to do yet or that they can even do that yet. That way it can happen. So I'm excited to see, what the imaginations people bring to the metaverse. Nobody saw NFTs coming when Bitcoin first came out. I don't even know
no.
what the next thing could be. What excites me the most is I cannot for the life of me just even begin to predict what that next thing is. And that's what like got me excited to come into the project and be a part of the metaverse more hands-on so I can have the conversations that will get that neural connection in my brain to click that I can see what the next thing is. So I'm in a position to take profit on it. Like I'll be honest, like I want to have the conversations where I know something that's 5 years away from happening. Nobody will even know that it's happening for 5 years, but I knew all 5 years because I had the conversation that snowballed it into reality. And I just want to use it. I want to use it.
Yeah. We're having a bunch of $50 USD or about zero point 0.5 Sol come in. And that's just fantastic because people know that there's like, oh, we're at it's angel numbers here. It's 4:44 p.m.
Oh,
here.
I love
So
that.
we have angel numbers here in Central Time Zone. And so we only have a little bit, 16 minutes left. And we've got all these. I feel like people have probably got some, and like now they're getting more, like now that they've kind of like envisioned some of the worlds and some of the things that they can have, within this ecosystem, which is really exciting to think about. And I'm excited too what can be created because the thing of it is, it's like this is an ecosystem for creators and businesses too. So it's like you said, you don't even know like the platform that has been created, what can be created on top of that platform.
Yeah,
You have to take in consideration too that when you guys create on in this ecosystem, like you're growing your token that you invested in, like you're growing your brand, your business, yourself, your social within this. Like, it's an overall reward.
exactly.
Oh, we got a lot of people in Belgium. Oh, and there's fun naked dancing and
Yeah, that's why I laughed. We're looking at Telegram at the same time.
yeah, I think so too. It was hard not to see the guy wiggling and dancing. Yeah. So, well, you guys, the last 10 minutes, does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? And, what do you want to see from us? And what do you want to see from Asboria? I think, like we want you to obviously be a part of what we're launching here. We obviously want you to believe in us. We want you to invest, time and even possibly resources into what we're building and celebrating and speaking about. So, what would you like to see from us? And what can we do to reassure you guys, that we're doing the right thing,
Ooh,
except
I
for
want to
being a
flip
good
the pressure. I want to flip the pressure.
yeah.
What do
Go ahead.
you want to see from the community? What would you like to see more from the community? The people that have dedicated 6 hours or an hour, whatever 6 hours. We've been at this for a while today, but like the time, like the people that are still watching, listening. What do you want out of the community? Or what do you think like they could do for the project outside of here's my soul token. What do you think that the community members that are this active, like you are going to be the spine, the bread and butter, the foundation of the community as it grows? You that are watching and listening right now, what do you think that they could do, or what do you want more from a community? Not even just this community, but a community.
Well, Miggy says he wants tattoos for reassurance, and Miggy knows that I'm tatted, and I'm happy to do that. And it was funny because I think it was at my Nifty launch that me and you were going to get matching Nifty tattoos. I'm glad we didn't do that. So now we can get Osboria.
Everything happens for a reason.
It does, yes. And so the Osboria official says all the diehards take a tattoo. You know, you guys, what do I expect from the community? I've launched some really fantastic blockchain protocols. I was a part of Constellation and Lattice Exchange, and they have one of the biggest cult-like communities out there. Their top 100 cryptocurrencies, hypergraph and lidar technology. And I'm here to tell you, what I expect from a community is just like transparency, like honesty. Like, if you have a question, I think that you just need to approach us. If you don't like something, you just need to approach us. Obviously, it's nice respectfully if you do it respectfully. Um, but like I want you guys to be hype. We always say in blockchain and stuff, if you can get that cult like community, I know that that sounds like a bad word, but it's just what we mean by it is that like people that love your technology and your idea as much as you do. Because if we're sitting here and we love this, and it's just us talking about what we love, why would we expect you to want to be a part of it? You can't make something, you can't write something, you can't sing something, and you can't create something if it's just for you and you want other people to participate. You have to include the community. And I want the community and I expect the community to be included in all parts of it because I expect them to be excited, or I don't want to be a part of it. I mean, like none of us, even Nico himself, the founder, doesn't want his name on something that's just crap. Like he wants to shill it and then he wants hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people here in the next year or so to follow behind and be even more passionate than he is. I'm sure he is tickled to death that people are saying that they're going to get an Asboria tattoo. And I think that you should. I think that it's beautiful. At the end of the day, Asboria is not going anywhere because it's a built technology. They're not trying to get the last 10 minutes here. Nobody's trying to get, tokens or money from you because a technology that needs to be built. You can go and use this technology, right now. It has use cases today. Like this pre-sale is going on so that we can get more users, get more ideas, get more people in. We just had a freaking 10 sol buy in the last
Wow.
10 minutes. Woo! And so, and at the end of the day, too, I was really touched because Asboria, Phil told me, and it's really beautiful. It means spiritual intelligence. So, like, and I think that that's the core heart of a lot of this in the community too. And I expect that from the community. I expect the founders and the core team to be honest, dependable, reliable, transparent, have good communication. We just had another 10 sol buy. You guys
I
are
saw that.
literally, yeah, you guys are literally just all the wells are starting to come in. 1.5. You guys do this the last 5 to 10 minutes of this and
Yeah,
we'll
we're almost at 2,000, and we're only 24 shy of 10,000 members. So 24 people to get joined. We broke 10K on the members.
if you guys get to 10,000 members, I'll make Ken put his hair in pigtails for the last few minutes of the no.
I don't. You know what stinks? And I've been saying this. I have to go to the store and get. I have to get more bands. I don't have any ponytail braid or nothing. I've been
Crap.
wearing like a beanie in my room, and it's hot. I got to get something to hold my hair back.
Raise your hand if you want Asboria hair scrunchies. I know Ken's gonna need some. I
I
need one.
love swag, and that would be a great piece of swag to give out at a conference.
Yeah, oh, and that's part of what I expect from the community too, is that we produce swag and they are like super proud to wear it. Like, like there's nothing cooler than walking through a conference and people running up to you and they have like something that you made or you launched on it and they're like, "Are you so and so?" And you're just like, "Oh, you are invested in something that I work so hard and I'm so passionate about." And I know that Nico's even more shy than I am and doesn't speak a lot, and I don't speak for him obviously, but I know that like it really touches his heart how passionate like these people are and how passionate we are too. There's 7 minutes left. Who's going to buy the last like all these 10 souls come in. Let's see if we can do a 50 soul, a
I
100
see a
soul.
pinned post in Telegram that says the biggest buyer in the next 9 minutes will get 15% more tokens.
Uh-oh. All right.
So
So
if you're gonna buy the 100 soul NFT, that might be the time to pull the trigger. And this is what I was saying. People might like keep waiting because last second opportunities.
we got another one soul buy. I'm missing they they're coming in fast now.
That's awesome.
All right. Yep. There's not much time left, guys. Man, this has been a journey. I hope that you guys got to know the project today and got to know us really well. I hope that you're excited about the project as much as we are. Another one soul buy and some change.
Yeah,
Mike
there's
and
like
Julie, let's
one
go.
more than the last, so they're competing to see if they get who's the last. It's funny.
Oh yeah. So who's been the top buyer? Who's getting that extra 15% more? I don't know. I kind of want to leave you on camera for a second and go buy a bunch and ditch you so I can go get the extra 15%.
That's funny, right? Yeah,
Like,
I
I
wouldn't blame
bet.
you.
Oh, I bet Russ is doing it. That jerk. Like Russ
He
is
is
gonna
he
get
is a
that.
savvy. He is a frugal investor. He's savvy.
Man, no, he gets all those tokens early on, like, and he'll tell you about them too. Yep, 6 minutes left. Amar's right. Let's do this.
Come on,
We got another
bitches.
token here soon.
I saw Seth announce that the unsold tokens will be burned or something from the pre-sale.
Steph, can you verify that for us to double check? Do you mind? And
Yeah,
then
the chat was flying by, so I just like
was it?
phrased it. I don't know if it was a confirmation or not. I'm pretty sure though.
Okay, good. Yeah, and it's and the things that we are 100% sure about, definitely jump into our
1931 sold.
1931. Oh man. They want that extra 15%.
That's awesome. I would want the NFT. Give me my NFT.
Yeah, I mean both. Why not, right? I mean, and that's another cool thing to discuss in the last 5 minutes. Like a lot of different people are going to get a lot of different things out of this ecosystem. You're very non-fungible token driven, and Asbury has a stablecoin element to it, and I've been in stablecoins for over a decade now. And so, I think Asboria is really fantastic because it piques a lot of interest of a lot of different people. And it's got a use case for pretty much anything and
Yeah,
everything that you want. We got another one sold coming in.
that's a good point. Yeah, I'm not big. I mean, like I guess I am an investor because I have to invest in things to use them. So it is like sort of like an adverse side effect. But like finding something that has so many different ways to intrigue your like, oh, I could use it for this, use it for that, use it. Like you're gonna find something other than, oh, I can use it to buy low and sell high. Like, you know what I mean? That's what excites me when it comes to a project too. Is like there's more to it than that for a lot of people. It's not just like an investor driven momentum. It's like end user interest based momentum. And that can be snowballed. That is endless when it comes to the steam behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the audience is demanding for, we've got 3 minutes left, and they're demanding for a Nico speech. I know that it's like pretty late here. So I think Nico might still be awake. We got a five soul buy and
Wow.
another five soul. Um, I think that Nico will probably, if he, because I don't know if he will jump on or not because it is so late there. I know that he will make a public announcement in the morning. Oh,
I just
Nico's.
put about $175,000, 20%, almost 20% of the goal, which is amazing, honestly. Like I'm so
Yeah,
proud.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and again, thank you everybody for everything that you wanted to, that you've done to make this a success.
Nico is on.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm typing in our chat here to see if he's.
Yeah, I'm starving. I gotta eat. I didn't eat before this because I have anxiety when I know I'm doing things. I just can't eat until I'm done. I feel like I don't reward myself with nutrients, so I try.
Oh, Nico is online in the feed.
20 million viewers to go. All right, well, I guess we can start getting ready to wrap things up here. I'm bushwhacked. I've been listening for 4 hours before we got on for two, so I've been tunnel vision for 6 hours on this.
I mean, I think that we're boring, me and you, so I hope that they weren't bored. I'm just kidding. I hope we're a good time. Miggy says he needs a tattoo in 1 minute, so
Yeah,
get
well, if somebody wants to drop that 100 soul and grab the, which will potentially be a one of one at this point, platinum NFT, you'll get 15% more tokens as well as a big chunk of Miggy's flesh.
yeah, Miggy's flesh. That's worth something.
I've never owned a fraction of a human. I don't have the money to even indulge in those thoughts, but Miggy just put himself up with a price tag.
I mean, you can do that. You can. The blockchain is going to allow us to do that. Well, we've got 1 minute left. You guys get those buys in, and you're going to hear from us tomorrow. There was another soul buy,
I
and
just
I
want to
think,
say thanks to everybody. And if you have any questions or just want to chat, make sure you at me in the Telegram so I can see that you at me. I'm pretty responsive, so as long as you tag me, we'll talk.
I get a lot on Telegram, so if I don't respond to you privately, I am so sorry. But you can, Ken will message me on WhatsApp and tell me that you're looking for me. And so
Thank you.
you're welcome. I love you.
I'm
And
your
so
secretary now.
you're not. No. In the words of a famous 90s song, it is closing time.
Time for you to go on to the places you will sue me from. I remembered that.
There you go. So thank you. I feel like we should sing happy birthday or something. But I don't think that that's necessary or professional. So Miggy has done the Leonardo DiCaprio cheers. That's probably the most professional thing that we could do right now. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. We love you. We
I'll
can't
just
wait.
Homer Simpsons into a bush as I leave.
Yeah. Okay. Peace.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody. Have a day.
Have the day you deserve, which is a great one, everybody. Thank you. God bless.